So fear is also simulated by the amygdala, but we can simulate aggression depending on our context, so sort of that interaction between our environment and our brain. So again, the amygdala is this portion of the brain that typically is associated with aggression. We should also talk about chemicals, neurotransmitters, things like serotonin. Of course, if you've had an intro to psych class, surely you've talked about serotonin before. What's serotonin famously responsible for or involved in? Or even if you watch commercials on TV. Depression, absolutely, right? So we know lower levels of serotonin are associated with depression. But also, you might be surprised, it's associated with aggression as well. We know from studies examining prisoners, so prison guards were asked to systematically characterize or rate the aggressiveness of fellow prison inmates. And it turned out that their estimates, those ratings of aggressiveness in those prison inmates corresponded to serotonin levels. Those prison inmates who were most aggressive had lower levels of serotonin in their bodies. So it's associated with aggression, it's associated with depression as well. Is this making sense? Okay. We're going to be talking about hormones. Obviously, what hormone is famous for contributing to aggression? Testosterone, absolutely, right? So this can explain a whole host of things. We know this is the same study that examined serotonin levels also examined testosterone levels in that prison inmate sample. And of course, they found a significant relationship between elevated levels of testosterone and aggressiveness among those prison inmates. A study you might find amusing, might not amusing, was done on a college campus where they asked participants to rate fraternities across campus, and they actually found, and then also they measured the actual testosterone levels of those individuals who belonged to those fraternities. And lo and behold, they found that fraternities that had higher levels of testosterone were rated as significantly ruder, a little less socially involved, that kind of thing. So it turned out to be related to not just prison inmates, but college individuals, samples as well. So we've sort of been talking primarily about relationships between these chemicals, these aggressive behaviors. But we should talk about whether or not that establishes a causal relationship. Based on the studies that we've at least discussed so far, does this indicate that testosterone, for instance, causes aggressive behavior? Why or not? Yeah.
Well, just because testosterone is present doesn't mean it necessarily causes the aggression. And for all we know, like the aggression could cause testosterone or it could just be, probably not really sense, but there could be other explanations.
Maybe a third variable that just so happens to cause both aggression and testosterone, or maybe it could be that not testosterone causing aggression, but aggression increases my testosterone levels. When I behave aggressively, I get some testosterone flow, right? So this is hard to really parse apart. We have, of course, we're restricted with humans in terms of what we can do experimentally to them. Is it ethical to inject them with testosterone and put them in a situation where they can behave violently? Maybe not. We do have some evidence that maybe there's a causal relationship, although I would say this is not a true experiment. But individuals who undergo sex changes, for instance, go from women to man, woman to man, have to have injections of, or have to alter their hormone levels, right? So essentially their testosterone levels have to rise. And it turns out that we do see, on average, elevated rates in aggression on those samples. Although, is that true experiment? What would it have to be true for it to have been a true experiment?
There's like not a control group or anything like that. And I mean, I just feel like that's a stressful situation anyway, and we should be stressful.
Alternative explanation, the possibility.
They avoid sexual prison as their
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for it to be a true experiment, I would have to take you guys and randomly assign half of you to get a sex change and the other half to not get a sex change. Not going to happen, right? We can't do that kind of experiment. Although I will say that because we do find that absolutely. Sometimes we have to take steroids for medical purposes. For instance, lung types of problems or breathing types of problems, steroids can be helpful. And certainly there are probably side effects, although it's hard to know to what extent was that a placebo effect since she knew she was taking steroids versus to what extent is it really a positive. Again, true experiment would be great in that instance, but absolutely it's possible. So we do know that testosterone is causal. There is some evidence that there's a causal relationship between testosterone and aggression. Although we also know there's some evidence that society influences our testosterone levels. For instance, one study I found amusing was a study in which they had male participants brought into the lab and measured the testosterone levels, compared their testosterone levels then to the situation in which they were asked to hold a docile baby. And it worked for adults too. It turns out that when men hold dolls or docile babies, testosterone levels actually lower. So interesting phenomenon. It's a little less aggressive. Can't imagine what might happen though if the baby was a screaming baby. Maybe some elevated rates of testosterone. I don't know. Just take home message if you're trying to conceive or want to be fertile, stay away from babies. Maybe? I don't know. Probably not your goal. Right, maybe a good form of work. But absolutely, so we know that it's a two-way street. So sometimes we know that testosterone can cause us to behave aggressively, but also our environmental influences can influence our testosterone levels as well. So interesting research. What about alcohol? We think alcohol influences aggression. So why? We find elevated rates of aggression with alcohol.
Does it have something to do where the alcohol content inhibits soluble?
Absolutely. That's one very good explanation, right? And we do know, for instance, that there is a relationship between alcohol and various antisocial behaviors. For instance, of homicides, approximately 86% of homicide murders were intoxicated at the time of that offense. Similarly, we find elevated rates of alcohol intoxication on assault and domestic violence, right? We do know also that it leads to increased levels of physical and verbal aggression when intoxicated. And the costs associated with alcohol-induced related aggression are fairly high. Estimates range from approximately $148 billion a year. So I think it's worthwhile to discuss this relationship. And we do know one relationship is, or one possible explanation is that while we're intoxicated, our inhibitions are lower, right? This can manifest in multiple different ways. And in fact, it turns out that prior mood to intoxication, whatever mood you're in, tends to get amplified. So I don't know if you've ever seen friends getting fairly huggy after intoxication. So maybe it seems to be the opposite of aggression. But they started out already in that sort of pro-social type of mood. But if you start out depressed, what of course happens after alcohol intoxication? Absolutely more depressed. You start out sort of on edge, more on. So it just amplifies those emotions. Those inhibitions are lowered, right? Of course, let's also talk about social psychological theory and how this can inform how our brain processes world-related information while we're intoxicated. Okay. Let's imagine we're at a bar and someone bumps into me. I could make an attribution about that person's behavior. One of two types of attributions, an internal and external attribution, right? Of course, what is the two-step model of attribution? The first step is merely that automatic internal attribution. You jerk, right? You bumped into me on purpose, and that's because you're inherently bad, right? Versus what is necessary for me to get to that second step, to that external attribution step? Thinking, right? Right, absolutely. It takes mental effort. It takes cognition. And we know that if we're, for instance, not motivated or distracted, right? We know from experimental research that we're distracted. We simply we do not have time to think. We can't make it to the external attribution. So it turns out to be the case that a lot of times we get stuck at that mean, I think we can see clearly anecdotal evidence of this. Anyone watch Jersey Shore? I mean, there's always lots of aggression during the alcohol intoxication portion of that show, right? So I'm always reminded of this related research that suggests that the explanation for why that aggression might take place. Okay, so to talk about alcohol, we know that that is associated, or can be associated with aggression. What about gender? Is gender associated with aggression? Yes, it is. Primarily with what type of aggression? Right. Turns out physical aggression we know is associated with gender. Now, we could discuss the explanations, but before we do, let's talk about what gender differences we do tend to find in terms of aggression. We do tend to find that there are gender differences in physical aggression, such that boys tend to be a little more physically aggressive than girls. This gender difference that we find is primarily at younger ages. So we find fewer gender differences as individuals age. That said, we actually don't find as strong gender differences in covert acts of aggression. We already talked about how we can behave not just physically aggressively, but also psychologically aggressively, right? You guys seen Mean Girls? Your classic example of some psychological aggression, right? Or some bullying, for instance. It turns out when we're looking at non-physical forms of aggression, gender differences largely disappear. And I will say that it's a myth that girls are more likely than boys to behave in covert acts of aggression. Actually not true. We just don't find as many gender differences there. So it's not that girls are meaner in a psychological sense than boys, it's just that there aren't as many differences between boys and girls when we're considering that type of aggression. Is this making sense? In fact, there's interesting research on bullying behavior, not necessarily at the teenage level, but actually at the corporate level. So it turns out bullying can still happen in adulthood, right? Unfortunately. And it turns out that there are gender differences in bullying such that men tend to be a little more likely than women to bully at that corporate level. But it turns out it's explained by one specific factor. What factor do you suppose explains bullying on work, on job?
I guess the fact that men traditionally are more career. I think in the workplace, women are less likely to engage in behaviors that like risk their job security. I feel like you work awfully as a man, you might be less likely to get fired or in trouble, like, or at least that's the perception. So I think
Possibly. And that actually could explain what they found in their study. And that turns out to be what's going on. Right? So it turns out to be that gender difference we find disappears when you control power. That it's actually the bigger predictor of who's a bully is who has more power. Right? If you don't bully someone who's more powerful than you, who you bully is less powerful than you, right? It's a subordinate type of position. So to the extent that we find gender differences in subordinate versus boss types of positions, that's what explains that gender difference we find in bullying behavior on the job. Right? So an interesting fact. In fact, it disappears when we control for power. So I guess women are just as bad men when they have the ability to be so, right? Is this making sense? Okay. So we know that we do find these gender differences. I guess the question is why? Of course, what's one biological possible explanation for these gender differences? Sorry. Yeah.
and physically are normally stronger, so I guess maybe
Yeah, we know there are actual physical, chemical differences.
And actually have a higher testosterone.
Absolutely. So we know that men on average have more testosterone than women. And we know that testosterone does appear to have a causal effect on aggression, right? Causal influence on aggression. So absolutely there's one biological explanation for these gender differences we tend to see in physical aggression. But can we necessarily rule out social explanations? What sorts of social explanations do you think could contribute? Let's see. Saw your hand first, I guess.
I think that like males are more encouraged to be physically aggressive and are more encouraged to like if you're having a conflict to like talk it out instead of like, you know,
we know they're not more, but they actually are no less, right? Absolutely, and we can see these messages being sent in all sorts of ways. In what ways do you suppose society sends these messages that girls are supposed to be less physically aggressive, that boys it's more acceptable for them to be physically aggressive? And how do we get these messages from society? Yeah. Possibly media, right? Commercials.
Just like in the toy market, boys action figures, their toys, like, have like violence in them, and girls like have nice dolls and things like that.
You can pretend to be a mother with your baby and be sweet to the baby. Versus boys have, things that fight one another, right? Things that fight one another. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
It's all the like activities, like agricultural communities, so things like boys are always supposed to go and hunt, things like that. So it's just there's so many other things that are going to make leaders. So I guess it makes sense to marry.
Sure. Maybe more encouraged to engage in those types of activities. I mean, I remember sort of wondering about this myself. Sort of asking my mom, why did you buy me all those dolls and all those frilly dresses and everything? Why did you, so indoctrinate me in all of that girly stuff? Why wouldn't you have raised me in this more gender neutral type of way? And of course, my mom said, well, you love that stuff. You would go crazy over that kind of stuff. And I did. I don't remember. But it turns out kids do really quickly pick up on these gender differences. We know from, for instance, eye tracking research that little girls are staring at those female sitcom actresses more than the male ones. Little boys doing the opposite. They're figuring out who they are, what their gender identity tells them they should be, and behaving accordingly. Oh, sure, yeah. Well, and I also have my hunting license at the age of 12, so I don't know. Yeah.
I know for me, I would like dress in the really coolest stuff. I would wear like the dress up, have my hat, and then I'd be like romping around with the sure. So it's like I wanted to look like a girl, but then I wanted to have fun too.
Oh, sure. And we've also talked about how possibly that's maybe more socially acceptable for girls to do than for boys to do, right? Is it socially acceptable for boys to put on frilly dresses and do? I argue it would probably be less socially acceptable, and not that that's not necessarily fair. Sort of a double standard for what boys versus girls can do, right?
It's like my mom's just obsessed with putting me like really dresses and I just would wear like clothes because I like dresses and so I think that kind of I guess it affected me more than childhood I didn't realize, but things like that, fighting like well I can show you or things like that. I think we have a choice of what to do.
Maybe reacted a little bit because of that perceived threat to freedom. Possibly that's a good thing. Yeah. So we know certainly that we can't rule out societal influences on these gender differences that we see. So we've got both chemical, we've got both biological factors. We could, for instance, look to cross-cultural research to sort of figure it out. To what extent are these gender differences in physical aggression due to just our innate biological disposition versus what society is telling us is right? Well, cross-cultural evidence or cross-cultural gender differences in aggression suggest what? To the extent that cultures are different, and yet we still find gender differences in aggression. What does that suggest about where aggression comes from? Social biological. An argument for biological factors, right? Or biological causes. That said, most cultures still have different social gender norms at that point. So again, it's not perfectly clean. Although I will say that we haven't found as many gender elimination of gender differences as move on, I will say there is one really interesting possible chemical predictor of aggression among women. And it turns out we've started to study by looking at animal populations. For instance, have you ever heard, oh, don't mess with the mama bear that just had the babies, right? There's a reason for that. They are more aggressive after they've had bear cubs. And this is actually true among all sorts of species. Rats, we find increased elevated rates of aggression among rats who are suckling their newborns than among rats who haven't had newborns yet. Of course, is this evolutionarily adaptive? Absolutely, right? It makes sense for them to be more aggressive after they've had babies so that they can aggress against potential threateners, right? Potential aggressors. Is this making sense? Well, recently researchers have asked whether or not this holds true among humans, which I found super interesting. In fact, this article was published in Psychological Science just recently in 2011. It's got a lot of press. So what they did was they took in a sample of breastfeeding women, so women who had had babies and who were breastfeeding. They also recruited an equal sample size number of women who had had babies but who were not breastfeeding, so bottle feeding, and a sample of military women. So what does that mean? Fancy word for they've never had babies, so college or control group for age. Is this making sense? So you've got these three different groups of women. What they then did was they told them that they were going to participate in this competitive reaction time task. They had a Confederate, though, who was actually in on the study and was trained to behave annoyingly. So as the participant and the Confederate were receiving the instructions for this competitive reaction time task, the Confederate was instructed to check their cell phone for approximately 20 seconds while the person was talking, chew gum obnoxiously and loudly, and sort of basically act in these disrespectful types of ways. Is this making sense? So the question was, which of these groups of women would in turn behave more not physically, but behave more aggressively in this competitive reaction time task? So the competitive reaction time task, they were told, was every time you win a round, you get to blast your opponent with this level of noise, and you get to decide how loud you want it to be, and you get to decide how long you want to blast them with it. Of course, the experiment was rigged so that they would always win X number of rounds. And so the question was, on those numbers of rounds that they won, what was the level and intensity and duration of the blast that they allocated to their fellow opponent? Now, meanwhile, they're also measuring blood pressure levels among these participants. And lo and behold, they found that the women who were breastfeeding were meaner, right? They actually blasted those people significantly longer and harder than the women who weren't breastfeeding and the women who had never had children before, right? And it turned out to be explained by their diminished levels of blood pressure. It turns out, so how did we explain it? It turns out when we're in situations where we have to react aggressively, it freaks us out. Have you ever sort of noticed you get a little nervous, a little right? Turns out that didn't happen for our women who were breastfeeding. They had no problem with blasting people because they weren't freaked out. They weren't as stimulated by this situational influence of aggression or this situational instance of aggression. Does this make sense? Of course, what sort of hormone do you think possibly could explain that? Anyone who's had neuroscience, what hormonal difference do we know is there for women who are breastfeeding but isn't for women who aren't? Well, they theorized it was a different hormone, but that was probably fair. Oxytocin, right? And we know oxytocin is associated with infant bonding, right? So it's associated with these pro-social things. But we also know that it does, in an animal population, predict elevated rates of aggression while suckling is happening, but only in response to perceived aggressors, right? But that's true while the baby's in the room, and even when the baby's not in the room. So, maybe from an evolutionary standpoint, it makes sense to just always be aggressive against potential aggressors, to show that you should know this from in the future, not to mess with me, regardless of whether my babies are here or not, right?
I think maybe it's because, still breastfeeding women were more aggressive, and I wonder if maybe it's just because if you're breastfeeding, your body needs that you need to still be there in order to ensure the survival of your kids. So, if you're not breastfeeding, it's not arguably not as important if you were to, I guess, die or something, because you're
you're more essential if you're sure, right? Well, and that sort of instinct kicks in, possibly because of those hormones. I will say, is this a true experiment? How would it have been, what would have been necessary for it to have been a true experiment? Hint, random assignment. What would it have to have done with our women?
They just randomly created them. They assigned them to either be breastfed or.
Ooh, I didn't think about impregnation, but yeah, that's a good point as well. I was thinking at least randomly assign them to breastfeed or to not breastfeed, right? Which again, we can't ethically do. That's not necessarily something we can tell women to do. So these people did self-select. You know, maybe there was something different about the women who chose to breastfeed and the women who didn't. But that's sort of a hard stretch to imagine that women who choose to breastfeed are aggressive. I don't know. Possibly. I mean, the fact that we found this in a human sample, but that we also found it in an animal sample that's mediated by blood pressure, it is some evidence that maybe there is something going on here besides just these compounds. Something interesting to think about. Okay, so we've talked about gender differences in aggression. We should also talk about cultural differences. And, of course, media, right? Media violence is a big one that we always talk about in any psychology class. But first, I want to talk to you about cultural differences. First, there are men. And I'm sure we could think about different types of situations that would induce aggression in certain types of cultures that wouldn't in other types of cultures. But let's consider the United States. Turns out there are cultural differences here in the U.S. We've got the North and we've got the South. Anyone from the South, by the way? A couple people, great. So I'll pick on you guys. So it turns out there's this expression, this Southern culture of honor. Do you guys know what we mean by the Southern culture of honor? Anyone?
It's honorable to, it's instilled in that if you are, it's kind of like doing something for someone else, doing it for the better of society, or anything like that, love, like something like that.
So honorable things are stressed, possibly more important in the South than in the North. I mean, again, we know, for instance, I know, for instance, anecdotal evidence of this Southern culture of honor. For instance, driving down to the South, I find horse, like that me more. I remember as I lived in Chicago, I get to this, whole city, glare at people so they don't get the wrong idea kind of thing. And then I sort of realized I'm coming off as this evil person as I move further down the South. I should be smiling and waving, right? Oh my gosh, this is weird. Or even, I remember going as a child to visit my cousins who were born in Texas and raised in Texas. Of course, how do they refer to adults? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. No, sir. Right? And my parents tried to make us do that. They were like, oh, you've got to start saying sir and ma'am. I'm just like, what? That's the weirdest thing ever. We just couldn't get over how weird that would be if we couldn't do it. So we're these obnoxious kids, I guess.
One of my friends who lived in the South and we moved up north, when we were younger, would say, yes, ma'am, yes, you know, like to the teachers. The teachers felt like she was mocking her.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
That holes,
And
right?
I'm just like, wait, are you trying to make a note? And it's like, no. And then I went to the store and I would say, yes, sir. And they're like, I'm not a sir.
Right.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. And of course, that would be different. That would be normal in the South. Yeah.
Well, if I was to do something, say, that's and then I come up here and I say this, and I'm like, and go ahead. You know, they get all of this.
They are then asked to take their questionnaire down this